So we're going to be recording this session on Prezi, which is an online tool, meaning it works from your browser. It is designed to help you do a couple of things. One is to set up a presentation of content. So that would be something similar to Google Slides. And if you have some familiarity with tools like Google Slides or PowerPoint, you will find certain features of this pretty similar. So we'll look at how it's similar and how it's different so that you can decide if it's worth it to you to learn the new tool. Does it really offer anything kind of special in that sense? And then the other feature it has, which is different from Google Slides, is a video feature. So we will talk about that too. You'll see the world's shortest demo of that I also have support for you to help you get started if you do decide you like that aspect of it. So I have put the support document in the chat. I'm going to put it in there again because someone I think got kicked out and then came back in. So the support document is a Google slide deck again this time. So it includes links as well as screenshots and so on to help you get started successfully if you do decide that you would like to use this tool. This session is being recorded and it is going to also, if you if you're a classroom teacher or other SJTA member, you will be earning hours for this session. So I do want to thank you for coming after your work day, which I know it's long and it can be difficult sometimes, especially with the really hard work that you're doing right now. So I really thank you and appreciate you coming. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. And here we go. So if you grab the support document out of the chat that I put in there, it will take you to our slide deck, which will be kind of going in and out of the slide deck because I also want you to see some live demonstrations using the tool. So Prezi, again, is a tool for presentations. What you're seeing in the background of the text, kind of behind the text, is an example of a Prezi Deck when you are using the presentation portion of the tool. And so that in and of itself kind of looks like Google Slides. There's the slide you're working on in the middle, kind of taking up the majority of your screen, and then off to the left you have your thumbnails. The organization is a little bit different, so you'll see a little bit later how it actually helps you kind of group content into subtopics, and then you'll have, for those subtopics, you will have kind of stacks of slides. Hello, welcome. I'm putting the slide deck in the chat for you. Thank you for coming. We are recording this session on Prezi. So as I said, this tool is similar to Google Slides and PowerPoint, and it has some differences. So we will start with some similarities. Some of the similarities include that you can add text, photos, YouTube videos to the Prezi presentations. Just the way you can in Google Slides. You can animate text and objects to appear in a certain order so that you are helping to use those kind of focusing tools and focusing strategies to help your learners focus on what you want them to notice out of the words or text or even the objects that you're bringing into that presentation. And you can easily share whatever it is that you have created in Prezi with just a link. So you will see later that you can either automatically post that link to Google Classroom, or if you're not using Google Classroom and you're using Seesaw or Remind or Class Dojo instead, you could get a different link that you can share in Google Classroom as well. Or sorry, a different link that you could share in those other ways as well. I'm putting the slide deck in the chat for you. Some of the differences. It is a freemium tool. So you use Google Slides and all of its features for completely free. There is no limitation on what you can do with Google Slides. You have access to every single feature that is available in Google Slides with your account. This, however, is a freemium tool. So there's a free version and there's a paid version. And I'll kind of talk you through some of the differences and even some workarounds. I am only using the free version myself. I will say that compared to many technology tools, and this one is not specific to education, it's actually used by businesses as well as educators. Their premium version does not cost very much. It is $36 a year. So if you do decide you would like some of those additional features instead of having to work around them, it is not as costly as a lot of technology tools are. I will say that the editing of objects and text and even animations and so on is not as robust as Google Slides. So in that sense, it is a little different. There is obviously some editing, as you'll see. that's available, and there's some animation that's available, but it's not designed to do things in exactly the same way as Google Slides or PowerPoint. One of the big differences with Prezi, and actually what drew me to Prezi years ago, I started using it probably in about, I'd say maybe 2012 or 2013 with students, is the movement, like the difference in how the content is presented. It has a very different feel, welcome, than a slide deck. I'm going to go ahead and put our slide deck in the chat. The slide deck is serving as our support document. So it has a very different feel, literally a different feel, as you'll see in a little bit. Some of you saw this perhaps if you came to my session yesterday, because I was using Prezi, but we kept going in and out of Prezi, so it makes it hard to notice that feeling. But it has a visible movement as the presenter moves from one slide to the next, and from major topics to subtopics. That sense of movement can be enhanced by rotating your objects, as you'll see in a little bit as well. Do keep in mind, if you do it too much or move too quickly, there are some people, I have a friend even who actually kind of gets seasick from it. So there are some people for whom this does not work well in the presentation mode. But Prezi Video is different. Prezi Video is kind of an additional product that comes along with Prezi. It doesn't have the same feel as the Prezi presentations. It's not supposed to look like a slide deck at all. What it does is it puts your content on the same screen as you will see a little bit later in, as I said, the world's shortest demo video ever. And then it has a built-in video recorder. So unlike Google Slides, where you have to start with Screencastify, and then you then have to kind of reopen your slide deck and get it full screen and click through, Prezi's video product actually is designed to be content and you together. It looks very different. It'll make more sense when you see it, but that is a huge difference as well. And it's kind of a separate product that will be in your dashboard. And just a little bit ago, when I was making sure everything was ready for tonight, I happened to notice a third product called Design that's also in your dashboard. So I did put a slide in here for today to let you know about that one as well. So it kind of has three products: Prezi Presentation, Prezi Video, and Prezi Design. And all of those are available to you in the freemium version. All right, so hold on a second. Looks like I accidentally deleted my slide with my demo, so I'll just, oh, there we go, let's do this. Let's move it that way. All right, so we're going to see, I'm gonna stop screen sharing for a second and then restart because I forgot to do my video. I forgot to tell it to screen share video. So I'm gonna share my screen again, but this time I'm gonna do it correctly, to share sound rather. That was incorrect before. All right, so we're going to look at a sample presentation, and then we're going to look at a sample video. I have not yet created a sample design because I just noticed that new product today. I also want to thank you in advance for your patience with me, because this product is one, like I said, that I have actually used with students for several years. However, when I went in to do the presentation, I was all ready to go, and I opened up the interface and realized that they've completely redone the entire interface. Prezi Video and Prezi Design are brand new. So I'm literally only a few hours ahead of you now on this new interface that they have. So I'm here to help in any way I can, but I probably wouldn't consider myself much of an expert anymore given the extensive changes they did to their interface. So we're going to go over here. Now, this is a presentation that I actually gave last night. I'm not going to give the presentation. I just want to show you how the content moves. So if I go to present, okay, one thing that you'll notice is, oh no, it's not on there. So I'm going to use my arrow keys. Let's see if I can get it to go. I'm going to click into my first section, and you can see how it zoomed into that. Keynote on the Mac has a feature that's kind of similar to this, but then I had subtopics, and each subtopic I can have as many slides as I want. So I broke up this topic of community into 3 subtopics called Connect, Interaction, and Individual. So as you can see, I'm moving towards them, and I'm going to back out. Don't get too seasick. I'm going to move pretty quickly here. I want you to notice how this is straight, but this one called Interaction is rotated. That's going to change what the movement looks like. I do see a question. Let me hop into the chat before I go any further. Hold on a second. Thank you. Well, if I'm an expert, I'm an expert. That's literally only a few hours, maybe a whole day ahead of you. All right. So as you can see here, I was able to animate. I will tell you that it does not do one thing I love in Google Slides, which is where you can say animate and click by paragraph, so that every time you hit return, it brings in the new line. So I had to make each of these lines a separate text box. That's a little bit of a downside because it doesn't let me animate the way I wanted. But I did find my workaround, which was to make each item its own box. Now notice I'm going to move to the next content, watch how it moves. And you can see it kind of turns into that, so that it was sideways, but now it's going to be upright. So we're going through here. Links can be included, but it does not yet hyperlink. I say not yet because all technology tools are constantly changing and improving their interfaces. So one day they might make a hyperlink of the word Padlet possible, but since they didn't, I had to go ahead and just put the link in there. And you can see, right, you can see that we're moving. So it has a different feel. You obviously, just like in Google Slides or PowerPoint, you can rotate any object, images and so on. You can change the font size. And again, these links are active links. You just can't make the word Mentimeter into a link that goes to that site. You also have to be in present mode in order for the links to work. But when you share it with your learners, the only option they will have is present mode. It won't be like Google Slides where it opens in the editing type of view with the thumbnails on the side. It will only open in present mode. Okay. So the other thing that you can do is, so you can see all these. I'm going to just click through these really quickly because I have a video somewhere. You can embed video. A little bit like Google Slides, the only video it embeds is YouTube. So as you can see here, I've got a YouTube video, and it will just, as soon as I hit click next, it actually just starts playing automatically. And in fact, you kind of have to escape out of it to get it to stop. And then you hit present again, and you just click fast right through it. So it'll go to the next thing. So those are some of the basic features of what a regular Prezi looks like. That's the Prezi presentation. That is a little bit like Google Slides or PowerPoint. As you can see right now, it is indicating that I'm on subtopics of a bigger topic. So if I want to add a new subtopic, I just click the subtopic button and it will let me add that. And you'll see the editing face a little bit later. So I'm using the back arrow to get to the beginning. Okay, there we go. So this front page has my kind of order of where we're going to go. And you can see on the side, community is a little stack. It's got additional content underneath it. Learning designed is another stack. There's more content underneath it. Practice makes better is a stack. An assessment is a stack. And then the recorded webinar actually just goes to one thing that is a link to the video from yesterday. And you actually have this link in your chat, because everything that is it is actually this link right here if you want to look at it again another time. The other thing that I would point out, I showed you the subtopic a little bit earlier, but since I'm on the front page where the main topics go, I can add a new topic. That's how I added the recorded webinar. I can change the size of things. And as you can see later, you can change the layout and so on. But I actually want to show you both products that I was going to talk about this evening, and then we'll get into kind of the how-to for both of them. So that was Prezi Presentation. Basically a kind of a fancy slide deck with some zooming features and movement and so on. You can even, although I decided not to go to town on this, you can add in, as part of the way you design it, a kind of a target to zoom in further and like really zoom into something. I did not do that for this presentation because it wasn't helpful for what I was doing. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a sample. Again, the world's shortest sample. It has no educational content whatsoever. Hopefully it kind of gives you a sense of what Prezi Video is. So again, with Prezi Video, what you're going to see is me, and then some content that I've prepared that's off to the side of me. And there's really only 2 little slides that it goes with. But you'll see a quick change where the first bit of content literally goes away, but I stay here and the next bit of content comes in, and it looks like the content's just kind of floating in space next to me. It doesn't look the same as what we do with like recording Google Slides and Screencastify. So here we go. Okay, and it doesn't have a full screen, so I'll just play it.
Hi everybody, here's a very short sample Prezi video. We're going to look at the different ways that you can add images and text and see how that all comes together in the Prezi video to have a very different look and feel from the other videos that maybe you've been doing so far. So as you can see, I had prepared this content with a little bit of text and a little bit of video, and when I press a button, the next object that I've selected is going to come into that video so that my students can see it alongside me.
And that's it. World's shortest demo video. All right. So those are the two products we're going to be talking about today, but I meant to move those. Let me move that up there. Sorry, I'm waiting for my... There we go. So before we do that, you've now kind of seen a sample of both a presentation and a video. So I wanted to give you a second. This is a small group, so you can either use the chat or your microphone. Oh, I didn't animate this. Oh, didn't animate those things. Okay, well, I'm going to let you use the chat or the microphone, and I'm not going to let you see that slide yet. And just tell me what your thoughts are so far. Are there some promising things you see about either Prezi presentation or Prezi video? Are there already some challenges or kind of shortcomings that you see with it? Does either tool look like something that might be helpful in the work you have left with your learners for the remainder of this year, or possibly going into next year as we wait to hear what that's going to look like? So feel free to use the video or the chat, the microphone or the chat.
Hey, Nicole, can you edit your video, the speaking part that you're doing, or is it a one-take shot?
It's pretty close to a one-take shot. As you'll see in a little bit when we go into the nitty-gritty of how to design it. You can edit, you can trim off the beginning and trim off of the end. But and you can pause while you're recording if you realize you need to kind of regroup before you say the next thing or consult some notes. So you could hit pause and then resume and continue with your presentation, but I have not seen a way for you to go back in and kind of re-record a section and so on. You would kind of, my understanding so far is you would have to start over. Check the chat. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I was using this, as you heard already, I was using this tool years ago. We clearly weren't in distance learning. I actually used this tool in class. Again, the interface was very different, and I really liked, there was an aspect of zooming in that I really liked. So I could have like content that was big, and then I could zoom in on like one letter and have that open up to a whole new thing of content. And I do think that is still possible here. I just decided not to explore. I saw the zoom in and set a zoom target, but I have not explored it yet to see if it works the same way it used to work when I used it in my classroom. But the students actually really liked it, and I used it selectively, and that is always the key. You never want to use a tool just because. So I picked Prezi because I liked the way, for very specific lessons, I liked the way I was able to organize and present and display the new content, because there was something about the way Prezi did it that I could not get in any other tool, and that I thought would enhance my students', comprehension or engagement with the content. So, that's the caveat there, is to just always be really, really selective. Prezi Video is new, so I have not had a chance to use that yet, although I've really liked some of the sample videos I've seen. You just have to be thoughtful about how you design, because there's not a lot of space, as you could see, for whatever text or images you're going to include. And that's actually purposeful, because as we know, even with a good PowerPoint or Google Slides presentation, it shouldn't be the person reading off all the content on the slide. We could just send it to people and let them read it, or even use their screen readers if they needed the audio support. They wouldn't need us. So Prezi Video kind of sets it up to where you can't really read off of your screen while you're talking through your lesson, because you can really only put, like a big chunk of text, such as a title or a topic or a theme, and you can put an image or a graphic or a chart or something that you need them to look at. But the rest of it is going to be you talking. So that's something to consider as well. And so that's kind of what, oh, was someone going to say something? No? Okay. That's kind of what I was getting to it here. Like the magic is never the tool. Ever. It really isn't. There are programmers who work and make the tools such that people like us who are not programmers can use them, but that's never where the magic comes from. The magic is always in the task or the design of the content and the learning experience that the teachers do or facilitate with that tool. So for you, your deciding factor really is going to be whether or not using Prezi Presentation or Prezi Video or even Prezi Design, their third product, is going to in some way support your learners, support their achievement of the learning target differently and better than not having used it. And there is something to be said, I know, sometimes for the fact that while we're in distance learning, we're in our 4th week now for elementary and 5th week for secondary of actual distance teaching. And maybe we're just feeling like we need a change and the students need a change because I've been doing my video lessons the same way because we needed to. We needed to start with a base set of tools. So there could be something to be said for that, that some teachers might choose to use this because it has a different look and feel, and that might be enough. But just always be thoughtful about why you're choosing it, what it does differently and or better than that in some way it's adding something you could not get out of the other tools that were available to you or that you've already been using and are comfortable with. So if you do decide you'd like to use this, and again, I'm not hurt if you don't want to because it's another presentation tool, it's another technology tool. You really want to be selective about which ones you choose to use and which ones you let go by the wayside. But if you're excited about this one and want to try it out, you're going to actually start at Prezi.com and you're going to create an account with Google because that'll actually help for those of you who use Google Classroom, since it does have a way for you to share your presentation directly to Google Classroom. For your Prezi video, you'll just send the link, but even that can be posted in Google Classroom, in Seesaw, and so on. They actually have some automatic guides, both for Prezi Presentation and for Prezi Video, that will kick off as soon as you try to do your first new one. So it will kind of guide you through the steps of adding content, editing content, changing the rotation or the orientation of the content, changing the size of it, changing the color, and then changing the path that your presentation takes. So go ahead and let the automatic guide help you if you would like. And again, it will set itself up automatically the first time you do either presentation or video, a different guide will start for you. I do think you will find it helpful before you start creating your first one to already have thought about what images or charts or graphs or infographics or whatever visual support is going to be part of your presentation. Find it and download it to your computer. This only has a couple of ways of adding images, although I will say that I did find I was able to copy images by doing screenshots that automatically copy to my clipboard, and I could paste them into Prezi. So that was a nice find because it saved me time from downloading every single image I wanted. But especially if there are images you're going to be able to use more than once, you'll want to already kind of know what types of images you're looking for and how it is you're going to add them into your Prezi, whether it's a Prezi video or a Prezi presentation. And for Prezi video, I did not try screenshotting with a copy to clipboard and pasting. So I don't know for sure if it works in Prezi video. It definitely works in Prezi presentation. But at first, when I was looking at it, they have an image browser. However, for the free version of Prezi Presentation, the image browser is extremely limited and didn't have anything I could use for a single topic I was trying to talk about. So I did my own searches for images, got some copyright free or Creative Commons licensed images, and I downloaded them to my computer so I could use them before I realized that I could just screenshot and copy and then paste them in. For Prezi Video, their image browser is actually a little bit better. You may still not find exactly what you need, but for some reason, there's a whole lot more images available for free in the free version for Prezi Video. For Prezi Presentation, that's part of the upgrade. to have access to hundreds of thousands of images that in a searchable kind of index that you can use. So if you want it, we're going to start with how to make a Prezi presentation. Then we'll look at how to make a Prezi video. And then that will bring us pretty much to the end. So you want to organize your thoughts and your content, kind of know where you're headed. This, remember, will be organized by topics and then subtopics. So for a topic, there can be text and links. You could decide you want images. You'll want to know what your topics are going to be. And if there's links you're going to need or images, just kind of have a thought to where those are going to be and how you're going to get them. Your topic slides can also include video. And then for topics, you can choose to have subtopics. Remember, that's going to have its own little bank of little slides for the subtopics. And there again, what text and links will you need? What images will you need? What videos will you need? And think about how you want to organize that. So if you're an outliner, someone who likes to do outlines, this will work really well for you. Then you're going to build your topic and subtopic slides. You'll see that I used one way of doing that and one kind of style, but there are other styles to choose from. And then check the path settings and edit if necessary, because remember how it moves? It actually creates what's called a path. And so you'll want to check, as you're moving things around, you'll want to just check and make sure that your path is still working. And then you can share the link, whether you share it via Google Classroom or get a link and send it through Seesaw or send it through Class Dojo or Remind. That's just the nutshell, how you, let's see, and I'm actually gonna flesh that out a little bit better. I'm gonna say organize, add, and edit your content. Oh, actually, no, I'm not, because that's below on build. So organize your content, build topic and subject, add and edit. There you go. Always fleshing these out. That's why you always want to get copies, because I just keep adding to them as I think of better resources for you. All right, so I'm going to give you some screenshots, but then we'll do a really quick live demo so you can see it in action. When you first start presenting, everything's kind of blank. This is my overview slide, which is kind of their word for your title slide. And that's where you're going to put your big topics. And then each topic can have its subtopics. So right now, this is a title slide with one topic. And there's already kind of a placeholder with potentially 3 subtopics, and there's a slide for each of the 3. The subtopics also have their own little title slide to kind of introduce the subtopic. You'll also notice that you have some images available. You have the ability to upload from your computer. You have some background options, and then you see the style, insert, and share buttons. So we'll be talking about, we'll be talking about all of those. But also, this is not where you're going to create your video most likely. That's kind of using that create video button is kind of the premium version of it. I'm going to show you the free version of creating a video, and it's not this button that lives with this presentation that you're creating. If you upgrade to the premium version, you can actually make a video with these really robust slides that have more content, but we're going to use the free version. So you can add a topic. At any point. Right now there's one topic added, but you could just click topic to add another one. It would make another circle. And then there will be subtopics that you add. You can check your style and layout with the style button. The insert button, as you'll see in a minute, has a lot of, you can insert text, you can insert video, this is also where you add the animation to have things come in one at a time. Anything on the slide that you're currently working on can be edited, change the size, rotate things, and so on. Create video, but that's again not the one we're going to be using, or present when you're ready, which is what you saw me do a little bit earlier today. So this is one of those subtopic slides. It even has a placeholder image. That's why it has that little kind of broken image icon here. It's got a preset layout that you can change that has a title and then kind of room for you to add text underneath the title. And each of these circles would theoretically be fleshing out the main ideas of this subtopic. Although you can drag these circles to a new order, that will not change the order in which they are presented. So it typically starts with the one on top, goes to the one in the middle, goes to the one at the bottom. Even if I drag, I can drag this one in the middle around and put this one in the middle and drag this one to the bottom. That does not change the order. So that would be a little confusing because then it would be in this order that we think is vertical and then it wouldn't present that way. You must drag, kind of like in Google Slides, change the order over here on the left by clicking and dragging the subtopics to their different order. So I just put in a little reminder for you that you can move those, but it won't change the order in which they're presented. So then I was starting to build my presentation that I gave earlier this week. And as you can see, I've not added, I put a title in, I put my name in, and then I have one topic for which I have not even typed a title yet. And you see the blue bar, the double click to edit, and the zoom in. All of those things are important for your editing. On a Mac, hit Command and click at the same time on this number, and then drag with your finger on your mouse pad to rotate this circle, this topic, to the right or to the left. So you have to do a couple of keys with your left hand, Command and click, Command, and then click and drag, like click and hold or click and drag. So you hold Command the whole time you're doing it and drag, and it will let you rotate. On a PC, you will hold Alt and Control and then click and drag to rotate your objects. Where it says double click to edit text, double click, and you will start typing in that box. You can change the size of that box, and as you type, when you're done with it, if you realize it's not centered anymore, click on it so it has the blue box all around it, and you'll see that you'll get some crosshairs so you can move the box up and down. And like Google Slides, it will give you some guidelines in red to let you know when you've hit the center of the box, or the vertical center, the horizontal center, or both. And then when you're ready to work on the slides that are the fleshed out information for that topic, for your subtopic, you're going to click on zoom in, and that will bring you to the next piece. Okay. So I double clicked in here like it said, right? And now it's just a blank box waiting for me to type. That's how I finally got my editing tools at the top. What font do I want? What kind of style is it? Is it header? Is it subheader? Is it normal text? Do I want to bold, italic, underline, or highlight it? Bulleted list, no numbers, just bullets. Centered, just what kind of justification do I want? All of that becomes available once I'm typing. It has a way to change font sizes by just hitting the minus or the plus. But if you're adding a lot of content on a page, and you'll see some of my slides had a lot of stuff on them and the text started big, and I had to make it smaller so that I could fit in the different things I wanted to say. In that case, there's also a way where you just drag the corner of the text box, and I'll show you live that as soon as it hits the same size of font as another text box, both of them will be highlighted in blue. So you'll know, oh, I did it. They're both the same size now. So it does that by showing you with this blue outline, not only around the text box that you're dragging to resize, but around any other text box that has the same size font. So if I made this one super big so that it matched this font size, when I made it big enough, not only would it be outlined in blue, but all of a sudden this would be outlined in blue to show me that I now have this text box at the same font size as this one, because you can see it doesn't ask for numbers. Okay. I had mentioned earlier that your insert tool has a lot of things you can insert. You're going to mainly work probably with text, images, animation, and video, but you also have chart. If you have PowerPoint slides that already exist, you can import them. You can add shapes, you can add arrows and lines, you can add PDF. I have not explored story blocks yet. And then you have things that you can add to your library. So if you have pictures for one presentation that you think you might use for another one, make sure you add it to your library while you get it into, when you first put it into Prezi, and then you'll be able to get your pictures from there. Okay. So you can see I've done a little more editing now. At this point, I've changed colors. I went into some themes and found a different theme whose color scheme I liked better. It was a gray, kind of a monochrome rather, scheme with just gray, white, black. So I went and found one that I liked better. I decided I liked kind of the circles with the smaller circles, but there's other layouts. It gave me this title and it gave me this subtitle area or area for more text. And it actually, I put this picture in. It had a different kind of placeholder, but I added this picture and made sure the text was on top. And then it came with 3 subtopics, but I wanted 2 more. So I just added more subtopics by clicking on the Add Subtopics button. And here's my left thumbnails. If I want to change the order, I need to drag it here in order to change the order. Then I can also drag it here so that it matches visually. There's also built-in help in the lower right corner anytime you're editing a presentation. So you can just click there to get help. And when you click on that, what it looks like is this. You can search it. You can click on Getting Started. You can go straight to help on how to add and edit content, and then learn how to work together, although I believe that is a pro feature or a premium feature. If you click on Style instead, it will let you change the background, the colors. That's where I went to change the color scheme. The shape and layout, some people prefer square edges rather than round, and so on. Remember, 3 dots always mean click here, there's more, so you can get more information if you click on that. I'm a big fan of keyboard shortcuts, so I did play around to make sure which ones worked, because sometimes when you're in a tool, especially one that's a little bit specialized like this one, it can turn out that some of your shortcuts don't work. For example, the Distance Learning Hub is something I edit, and it's done in a tool called Microsoft SharePoint, and a bunch of my shortcuts don't work on it. So I always have to remember to go up and actually navigate up to the toolbar and do the things I want to do because my keyboard shortcuts don't work. So in case you didn't know, here are a bunch of keyboard shortcuts that are the same as in PowerPoint and the same as in Google Slides, and a whole lot of other tools like Google Docs as well and Microsoft Word that you can also use in Prezi to save you time. So undo works, Control or Command Z, and redo, Control or Command Y. Copy works, which is Control or Command C, cut, Control or Command X, which actually cuts it and saves it for you to paste somewhere else. Paste, Control or Command V, bold, italic, underline, all work. So those tools all work in this one if you like to use keyboard shortcuts. Once you learn them, it's actually faster than stopping your typing, going to your mouse, navigating up to the toolbar, clicking on the thing you want, and then going back to typing. That's why I like them so much. Oops. So all of those shortcuts actually still work, and you can use them, and you can use them in anything if you weren't already using them before. So we're going to see a live demo. So I don't want to edit my existing presentation because I like that one and it's pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to start a new one. So this is my dashboard. I'm all signed in. It says Nicole Naditz over here. And then on the left, I can go to videos, designs, or presentations. So I'm going to go to presentations. It says I have 3 there, but really I only have 2 because when you first get there, it's actually going to give you kind of a starter presentation that helps walk you through the process of doing it. So let's edit this one. Oh no, that's the video one. I don't want to mess with that. So we're going to just start a new presentation. You can create from a template, create from scratch, or convert a PowerPoint. So if we click to look at templates, it's going to take a minute to load our templates. And so if you see some that you like because you like the backgrounds and so on, you can actually start with that. So I'm going to choose this one. No particular reason, because I'm not going to actually make any real content. Okay, so I'm going to choose this one, and it actually is going to let you explore it first before you choose to add it, because that way you can take a look at some of the different types of slides and what they will look like before you make your choice. So to do that, you just use these navigation buttons on the bottom to see how it's going to look when it moves across. Now, what I like about this one is it almost has a 3D feel, right? Also, you might have noticed that it came back out and now it's going to go, oh no, yeah, now it's going to go in and then to subtopic 2. And then pictures, right? You can do anything you want like that, and then come back out. You actually get to decide if it keeps coming out to the main screen or if it just goes from topic 1 to topic 2 to topic 3. That's a decision you will make. Okay, so I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna come here, and it comes back out. But you, if you decide to use this template, which I just clicked on, it will actually let you change that if you prefer that it not go back to the title screen every time. And that's just a choice for you. Is it helpful to your learners if they kind of see where we were, what's coming up every time, you know, to kind of get that sense of where they're at in that learning journey? Or is it better for them and their learning if it just flows without the back and forth? So that really depends. Notice that on the left, what it did was it has my overview, and it's got my topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, topic 4. And you can even, on your screens, that's probably really small, but you can actually kind of see that this one only has 1 slide underneath it. This one has 2 slides underneath it. This one has 1, and this one has none. But you can change that. You can delete anything. So we're going to click on topic 1. It's actually showing me the path now that this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, and this is number 4. If I want to change that, I'll have to drag it over here. And if I want the left order to match what's here, I will then move these topics around, but it won't change how it presents unless I actually change it here on the left. So you can move the things around, but that won't change the order. I'm not going to zoom in yet. I'm just going to show you that if I double click, plants. I have no idea. And then again, I have all my tools up here. 3 dots mean click here, there's more, because it didn't have any room. So this is my justification or alignment, indent and outdent, and add things to your library. Over here, it's already set up to search for free images. However, as I said, in Prezi Presentation, there are not a lot of free images that it will let you use. I actually went, oh, you're using Unsplash? I just went to Unsplash online and looked for my pictures that way. That was my workaround. You could also look for pictures by changing your Google settings to be sure that you're searching for images that you have the right to use and modify. And then you'd be able to use the Google images as well. So I changed this to plants. Remember how I said I can rotate things? So I'm going to hit Command because I'm using a Mac, and you'll see that my arrow is going to change. Sorry, I needed to change to the right kind. Come on, let me do it again. Come on. There it goes. Like that, so that I can just rotate it. If I want it bigger, I can just make it bigger. I can hit undo. I'm using keyboard shortcuts, but I can hit undo. And now I can go over to topic 2. Oops. If you double click on it like that, it actually brings you in to edit that slide. So notice on the left, I'm going to go back arrow to overview, click once, so that now I can double click and change that title. We're going to say flowers. I know those are also plants, but it's fine. And then I'm going to go over here. And they chose to make the circles kind of different sizes, and you can choose to stick with that or not. Animals, animals. And then topic 4, I don't know, oceans. That's still part of nature. There we go. Down here, it's actually giving you a space. If you don't like it, if you don't want your name or the date there, just highlight it so the whole box is blue and there's no cursor blinking in it, and hit your backspace key and you can just get rid of it. If again you change your mind, just hit Command Z and you can have it back, and you can double click on that. So now if I want to go into my plants, I double click and I've zoomed in. Now I can edit my topic 1, trees. I have no idea what I'm doing. I can also edit the smaller text here, and it doesn't have to be as small as they made it. It's really tiny. Oh, I just forgot deciduous. Yeah, I forgot the names, but we're going to say evergreen. I don't think I know how to spell this one. Deciduous. I might have made that word up. And then if I don't like the font size, again, I can do plus, for example. Now remember, I won't be able to animate those to come in one at a time because they're in the same text box. So let me show you something else. I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to backspace to make that one text box, because if I want to animate this, I'm going to need to have it be in separate text boxes. I'm going to paste. See how it came in black and it's really big and it's the wrong size. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my text color thing and fix that. Now watch the two boxes. I want you to watch both the evergreen box and the deciduous box. I'm going to shrink this until the evergreen box also has a blue box around it. When I get to the right amount of shrinking, come on. Oh, don't fail me now. All right, hold on a second. Let me move it over a little bit because it's not noticing it. But I used this a ton this way. When it gets to the right size, it will eventually notice that it's the same size as the evergreen one. Come on, let's try you. Let's see if we can get you to do it. There it is. There. So they're both outlined. That means they're both the same size. Now those are really small. So I'm going to make them a little bigger. I tend to have this problem with Google Slides as well. I tend to find that Google Slides has preset font sizes that are way too small. Okay. For some reason, it's not liking this one. I don't know why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat by going back this way. Let's see. Oh, there it is. There it is. All right. It also, you might have noticed the red guidelines. So I can use those. I'm lining up the first letters because the red line is all the way to the left of the first letter, or I could line up the last letters because it'll do that, or I could center them, but I happen to be partial to lining it up on the left. You can do whatever you'd like. Now, if I wanted to animate, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on Insert. I'm going to click on Animate Animation. It's going to open up a little animation window. Click on a box. Choose the plus, choose fade in. Then click on a box and it's going to make it play it for you before it lets you do the next one. Okay, so click on a box. And that also works if the thing you want to animate in is a picture. It doesn't have to be text. You can just choose anything and animate it in. And then when you're ready to go to your subtopic, you go here, you can change the titles and so on. So I could say that, hey, we're going to talk about trees. We're going to talk about evergreen and deciduous. I think those are the same thing. Anyway, like I said, I don't remember exactly what the distinctions were, but we're going to pretend I'm right. So we could have one subtopic called evergreen. And then up here, it says add another subtopic. We're going to have another one called deciduous. Notice it actually automatically added the slides over here. It has evergreen first, deciduous second, which matches what I have here. So this could be my topic slide. If I want to add an image, I can actually grab an image. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to go to Insert Image. I doubt I'll get lucky enough to see any trees on their free images. Nope. All right, so we're going to go to trees, and then I'm going to go to my search settings and I'm going to go to advanced search and I'm going to search for free to use, share, or modify. Advanced search. Now I have images that I have the right to use, and I can go there now and just click on images for trees labeled for non-commercial reuse with modification. Sure, that's really pretty. All right, I'm going to grab that one. And for now, I'm just going to do it the quick way. I'm going to copy this picture since I already know I have the right to use it. And I'm going to go back to my Prezi that I'm editing. Which one is it? I have Prezi open in a lot of places now. There we go. And I'm just going to Command V and paste it. And I can move it anywhere I want. It can be anywhere I want it to be. So I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put it right here. And if I hold the Command key and do this, I can rotate it if I wanted to, or I could choose not to rotate it. It does not give you a good guide for when you are not rotated. So you just have to eyeball that one because it doesn't give you any red guidelines. Are there any questions yet at this point about just adding and editing the content? So at any point, you can kind of check out how it's going if you would like to. So if I go back, I just added a subtopic on accident. I'll have to get rid of that one in a minute. But if I go back and I'm at my overview, if you want to kind of see your thing from the beginning, you actually can, you can click share and hit present. And again, don't do Prezi Video from here because in the free version it doesn't work. Or you can hit the present button in the upper right corner, and then you have little arrows on the bottom here, and you can use your mouse as well to get where you need to be. And notice how right now it's going back and forth. So we're going to come in here and it's waiting for me to add, there's no content in there. Those slides are intended to not be all the information. It's intended for you to come in here and talk about deciduous trees now. So it had that title, but it's intended for you to then go zoom into that so that you can add more information for the learners to process. So if you want to delete a topic, you can just highlight it and delete it. Let me show you how to fiddle with the path. All the way in the lower left-hand corner, you have a very small thing that on your screen might be close to invisible. It's called path settings. So it would be underneath your thumbnails all the way at the bottom. When I click on that, it says, do you want it to go back and forth? And it even gives you a little video to be like, look, we're going in, we're coming back out. We're going in, we're coming back out. And that's what you saw, part of what you saw it do. That's for the overview to topics. And then from topic to subtopic, do you want it to go topic, subtopic, back to topic, subtopic 2, back to topic, or do you just want it to flow from one to the next? So you can experiment and decide that you want the overview to always be visible when you're done with a topic, but that you want the subtopics to flow from one to the next until you're ready for the next topic. Or you can put them both over here. You can put, you can choose which way you want it, but those are the only options. There's not a lot. So you hit save, go back to overview, hit present, we'll see how that looks different. So it goes to plants, trees, evergreen, deciduous. Now remember, normally this next slide would have information about the evergreen trees. Now it's going to go straight to deciduous without going back to that topic slide with the picture of the tree on it. And then it's going to go to the next topic. And then from there, go to the subtopic. So those are choices you can make when you're designing your content. And notice, like now I'm in the middle of this one with these pictures. Just hit the back arrow and keep hitting it until you get back to overview. Okay, to kind of back, it's kind of like zooming out. So you zoomed in, now you need to zoom out. It is. It is fun. Like you could spend probably too long playing with this and then deciding, how much movement you want there to be, because it does really change, like if you rotate things a lot and so on. All right. So that's kind of the gist there. The big things I wanted you to see is how you add information. Remember what I said, if you want to add links, you have to just put the link in there as text. How you can add images. I will show you. Let's see, where did I go? Zoom in, let's zoom in. So we did trees. And I was just thinking of a thing I wanted to, I want to show you that we can also animate the image in, because we haven't done that. It is not as robust as Google Slides or PowerPoint. So you can't tell it, hey, come in with the last word on the previous animation like you can on Google Slides. But I can say, I want to animate this picture. I want it to come in. And I don't want it actually to come in fourth. I actually want it to come in first. So I'm just going to drag it to a new order so that now the image comes in first, followed by trees, evergreen, deciduous. And I can check that if I go to present, it'll actually start where I'm at. And so boom, boom. And then it'll go to those topics. Okay, that was an interesting image that it put there as a placeholder. So backing out, and remember, that's kind of the key. You navigate by zooming out, and you zoom out by hitting the back arrow that's over in your left menu until you get to the point where there's no back arrow left. So if you kind of need to run things from the beginning and you're all the way over here, sorry, there we go, get my mouse to work. I'm all the way over here. This might get me home. That got me home. But when I was in with several levels, I had to hit the back arrow, back arrow, back arrow to zoom out each level until I got to the overview. Okay. Let me show you the screenshots now for Prezi Video. Prezi Video, The one that you're going to use for free has a very different interface, and there's only a little bit of content that you will add. You can choose to add it from a template or from what they call a reusable video. Someone else's Prezi video, you like it, you use their template, and then you just change the text and the images that you added. So when you're ready to record, once you're ready to record, or once you're ready to get started even, you'll actually, even before you record, even to start your Prezi video, you're going to go to this site called prezi.com/video and choose Allow Camera. It will also be in your dashboard over here. That's not my dashboard. There we go. If I go to videos, I can create a new one. I can't do a lot of these tools. Like, it's supposed to work with Zoom, and Zoom just released a new version. So now it doesn't present live in Zoom anymore, which is too bad because it's supposed to, but it doesn't. It might work with screen share. I haven't tried it yet. But I did get an error message as soon as I tried to do the present live in Zoom, because it actually has a feature in theory where you wouldn't have to record the video. You could just be talking to your class in Zoom live and have these things just flying in next to you while you're doing your live thing. But they had an error message right away that said Zoom just upgraded, and right now it doesn't support Prezi anymore like it used to. So hopefully that'll be fixed soon. And from here, you could do create new video as well. So I'm going to run through the screenshots first, and then we'll take a look at that. I know, it is a bummer. You are not wrong. All right. So as always, it actually provides help to get started, just like Prezi Presentation does. So it's hard to see because I can't, there we go. On the bottom, it's showing me where the number 1 is on the bottom, that it's showing me to learn how to navigate between the different frames and kind of what the content will look like that appears next to me. And then there's a different camera views option that I can also explore. Or if I think I know what I'm doing, I can just skip all that and get going. Okay. So then when you're ready, you'll click Start, and it'll bring you to this screen, and it will ask you, would you like to use a template or would you like to use a reusable video? The one I chose was template for today. So that's the version I picked. So I picked a template, and it gave me all these template choices, and I liked this one because I liked the colors. So I picked this one, and it came with this kind of placeholder photo, but I'm going to add a different one in. And it's even giving me help. The frames have your design, so use the arrows and kind of see what different frames you might have. On the left, it's showing you, is it going to be all you plus your content, or just the content? Now, I actually really like the whole Prezi video because it can be me plus content, so I thought the other ones were silly. But you do have the option of making a video with just you, or making a video with just the content if you don't want to be in it. When you see the frames, once you've gone through these templates, you've picked it, you kind of explored it, you found the one that you like, hit next step. And then you add text, and you can also add images. Like I said, interestingly, the Unsplash image search here was a little better. I'm picky, so I think I still went and found a different photo, but it did have more photos. And this is my first frame of my video. So when I'm ready, I'm going to add another frame, but right now there's nothing on my first frame except for these pretty dots. I could leave it like that, but I'm going to click to add some text. As soon as I type the text here, it types it here, and there's no choice in the spacing. That is the spacing. Notice you're also limited in the amount of characters because it already knows it has a limited amount of space to work with. There's also no choice in the font sizes. There's no choice in the font colors. If you upgrade to the Pro version, you can take your Prezi presentations where you did fiddle with the colors and the sizes and all that, and you could pull it in and make a video with it. So I'm on frame 1. I've added text, but I have not yet added any images. You don't have to add images. It's just an option. Oh, I did search. I used theirs. Excuse me. And I searched for computer and just picked one. So any image you find in their search thing, you do have the right to use. So I picked it, it put it there. I don't get to resize it. I don't get to rotate it. I don't get to change it. That's where the picture goes. If you want to upload a chart or a graph or something you want you're going to talk to your students about, you can do that as well. Just make sure that it shows what you need it to show, since you can't change the size. Then you click add frame. So I have my first frame, welcome to distance learning. I'm going to add another frame, And I only did 2 in that sample video. So you can just keep adding frames, as many as you want, but now I have a blank frame and I have my first frame. So that's my previous frame, that's my current frame, and that's where I can add frames. And when done, click next step, and you're going to be recording really soon. So I added my 2 frames. It worked pretty much the same way both times. A little bit of text, an image of some kind that you could choose to have or not to have. You could just have text. You could just have an image with no text. You can see here that there is a record button available for you, but if you'd like, there's actually a little tip, and I actually found it helpful. There's this really short video, it's about 2 minutes long, talking about kind of some tips for recording Prezi videos, and I actually did find it helpful. So you might want to watch their little video. And what it's showing down here on the bottom, sorry, trying to get all my tools out of your way, okay, is that you've chosen your template. You're already done with that. You've added content, check, that's done. Now you are on step 3, the practice and record section. And then step 4, which is grayed out and you might not be able to see it, is save and share. So we're on step 3, we have a record button. So when I'm ready, I'm actually gonna hit that record button to start my video, and then I'll save it later, you know, when I'm done recording. So hit the record button. If you need to pause, you can hit that button again to pause, to gather your thoughts, figure out what you wanted to say next. It'll tell you that your recording is paused. And then if you need to resume, you click it again to resume. And when you are done recording, hit done recording. If you hate what you did, you have to discard and start over. Once you hit done recording, you actually can review it, and you can trim from the beginning or the end, as I'll show you in just a moment. So you can play it, you can trim a little bit, or you can record it again or save it. Those are the 3 options that pop up. So if I say I want to trim it, it gives me some handles or sliders that I can drag into the point where I want my video to start, and then a slider that I can drag in from the end if I want to chop off some stuff that I didn't need anymore. Then I can hit done. Choose my visibility. So unlisted means, like, this was a silly video. I am not making it reusable for other people. I'm not making it public. So I made it unlisted, so only people who have my slide deck can see it, because they're the ones who have the link. Of course, if you share that link, everybody can see it. But anyway, you can also share it directly to Google Classroom. So if you're using Google Classroom, go ahead and share your video that way. If you are using Seesaw, Remind, or Class Dojo, just use one of the links. Whether it's public and reusable, meaning there's no choice. If it's public, it's automatically reusable and someone else can borrow the template that you did, which isn't that big a deal because you were limited to their stock set of templates anyway, and you can't really change them very much from what I can tell. But in any case, it does mean any pictures that you used would also be available to them. So be cautious about uploading your own pictures that might have students and so on in them, and then also making it reusable. That would not be a good idea. Okay. And then if you still are like, oh my gosh, no, this was a total mistake, you can record again, which would delete it, or you can just hit delete so that you can record later. And then once you've made the choice, if you're not using Google Classroom, you might have wondered, that's nice. You said I get a link. Where's my link? Right? So you go back to your video and now you have a copy link option. And that's how I got a link to share in the slide deck for you. Okay. Your videos are located in your dashboard under your videos tab. Your presentations will be in the presentations tab. And that new thing called designs will be in the designs tab. So Prezi Designs is a little bit like the graphics option of Adobe Spark. You or your students can choose to create an infographic, a poster, a social media post, or a report, starting from a template if you would like. And so for those of you who've either tried Adobe Spark or come to one of the trainings, it reminds me a lot of that, but I have not yet played with it. But it is something that you, or theoretically your students, could do. And then they would also have designs or presentations and videos as well. Again, if you need help, there's a help button in the lower right corner. In the Prezi video, the help button is in the upper right corner, just so you know. They also have a help page that I linked for you, just to make it a little faster. There you can search by keyword. You can also click on any of those tabs to get help by using the little tiles that they have. And then there's also, and I didn't screenshot it, but above where it says, how can we help you? There's actually some links, and one of them is training. So they have a training link as well. A little bit later, we'll have the recording of this training linked here in the slide deck for you so that you can come back to this training if you need to review something again. Okay. And that brings us to the end of our session today. Only 5 minutes late. Darn it. I was hoping to be on time. I'm sorry. Any questions? You're welcome. Yeah, definitely need time to play with it. I could totally understand that. So thank you again for coming. Feel free to reach out if you need help. It is it's not a new tool, but it's a new interface of a tool that's been around for a few years. So yeah, enjoy. Have a great night, everybody.